Peace, Open Roads to Understanding. This is Siri-lily with my next episode of Bobby Hemmitt. This is going to be a long one, man. It's going to be plenty in this one because it's 2 hours long. I think I'm going to let this one play for a while since I have you guys interested in Bobby. So we can go ahead and knock this one out. I got so much more Bobby Hemmitt. And this brother has been suppressed for the better part of what, 30 years? Here we go.
But we actually saw these particular trains, and they'll close down Amtrak and smaller places, and these Amtrak go straight into the particular station. And now the reason how they're going to pull all this stuff off is they have Russian troops that don't really read English. So on the back of these particular signs, they got red and blue markers, and they can follow the markers and go straight to the particular concentration camps. And these are the people that's going to be manning these things because they don't have an allegiance to you because they don't know you. You see, but they have this particular train that's going that rolls right in, and they have this. I mean, it's infirmaries there, and accelerators, and these things are crematoriums, and they burn up to 3,000 bodies a day. But on the other hand, like I told the people, they need to go and get the movie The Harvest because they're talking about the biggest thing that's going on is body parts. Now, body parts is the biggest thing that's going on because it's the number one. They got to get the melanated parts because they don't reject the body. These white parts reject the body, so they have to get the melanated parts. Now, the biggest thing that's going on at this particular time is these body parts, and as a result, they had a particular brother. I think this brother, he was a part of the Nation of Islam, and he was down in Jacksonville, Florida. He was at one of these colleges down there. Now, supposedly the Ku Klux Klan, not the Ku Klux Klan, the Sheep. We talk about big-time businessmen that run the businesses that you work for. They have a ritual every Valentine's Day that they get a black person to eat that person's heart. In the other parts, they like the brains and all that. They cut up, put them in ice, and ship them all across the country to people that need those particular parts. Well, this particular brother in the nation that was raising hell down there, he ended up missing during Valentine's Day, and we know what happened to him. They used him this time as a target for the ritual. They didn't just want an ignorant person. They wanted a person that could actually go and that could actually was a conscious person. So that was the big thing in this particular dispensation of time. Now the other thing is in Atlanta, there's no more homeless. The homeless overnight, about a year ago, they have cleaned all homeless people up. And they had a big homeless problem in Atlanta. They had the homeless sleeping on top of the vents. They have cleaned them all up, and as a result, one of the sisters saw it, and this thing happened simultaneously in Atlanta and also in LA. I think what did I tell you about that the last time I was here? I think it was a week after I came. When did I come in? I came in February. About a week after I came, they had this task force came and hit the projects in Atlanta, I think Carver Homes. And they rounded up about 20 black men. One brother got away and ran on MARTA bus system, which is the transit system, but he didn't understand that all that is run by the actual government and FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Act. So he ran on there, and the brother on the bus would not, it was an empty bus, and the brother would not take him where he wanted to go. So he threw the brother off the bus and couldn't get the bus in gear, and the white men ran on the bus, and he jumped out the window and got all cut up, but they got him anyway. And they came around in these particular white TV vans, the ones that you see with the 11 Alive and these particular Channel 5, and they just don't have the thing on the top. They came in about 10 or 12 of those and was putting these black people up. And they have taken those particular black people to Oregon because there's a concentration camp in Oregon. And they have taken them down to Oregon and they're making them into body parts, and they're getting the body parts. Some people say, well, hell, why didn't snatch your bomb? First of all, a bum got a better body part than you because a bum don't eat as much as you. So therefore, even though he lives out on the street, his body cleans out haphazardly because he doesn't eat enough, so his body is not diseased. That's why you always say, well, hell, why all the bums always still out here living? But everybody is well-to-do, black bourgeoisie, rich people, and all this stuff. And also, the other people that's not on the street, they die like flies. But the bums.
So this may sound a little incredible to you. It may sound outrageous. It may sound too far-fetched. I just want to invite you to think about one thing. How many bums are dying from COVID? How many of the homeless are still out there in the streets. 40,000 of them in Detroit. They're fine. They don't wear masks. Most of them these days are medical patients. So they don't have the capacity to realize that they're supposed to be wearing masks. I'm just telling you what I see every day here in Texas. Every day is not a day goes by that you can't go downtown or go to some of these other places around Houston. And at this point now, even places like Bear Creek, which is supposed to be a predominantly white area because of meth. Everywhere you see strange behavior. That stuff has people sleeping at bus stops, bending over while standing up, looking like they literally, I mean, some of the feats I see some of these people who are on this stuff do, man, if I were to be bent over the way that some of these folk are bent over, man, dude, I'd fall. There's no way I can hold myself up. They be bent out, like leaning, like in some sort of a weird thing, like something's holding them up. They can't be bent over there for, I don't know, it's weird, y'all. But anyway, so if you think that that's a little, too far-fetched, consider that. Consider these bums are not getting sick off of COVID. And this was 10 years ago that this video, pretty much, I think, that this video was made. So keep listening.
Be living out there year after year because they don't eat the same thing based on they don't have enough money. So that's the best one for the body parts, you see. So, based on diet. So they're taking those particular ones up also too. So these are some things that's actually going down at this particular time. Now, what I want to do is I want to get to some other particular things that we're dealing with at this particular time. We're going to go back. Right now, my main thing right now is to deprogram the mind and to take a person back beyond Hemmitt or back beyond what you would call Africa or ancient Africa. We want to go all the way back. So what I want to do at this particular time is actually go back. So I made a pledge that if nobody deserves anything, they should have at least gotten these particular scriptures. So I say these on every last one of my particular lectures. I always give out these particular scriptures. And you notice it's Psalms 82 verse 1, the people who have pencils. Psalms 82 verse 1, and God standeth on the congregation of the mighty, and he judges among the gods, which means that's judging among you because you are God. You must understand these particular things that's actually going on. Now, because some of this particular spirituality will work for you if you realize you're not just a person, but under God, but you're a joint heir with the Christ, and you are Christ, and you are God too. And therefore, your whole reality will be different. Right now, I'll tell you how powerful this is, to let you know. I went to the mounds in Tennessee, an Indian mounds in Tennessee Monday. And while we was on it, we received information that they have a whole consortium of white people have consolidated together. And they took 3 black people to get the energy, all to try to put the doggone stuff on me to try to hurt me based on some witchcraft. But the stuff hadn't been working, and the particular magic is weak. Now, why is the magic weak and why the magic cannot penetrate? Number one, first of all, the only magic there is on the planet is the magic that the black man and the black woman brought forth, or the spiritual divination system. Because it's only power. You can use it for negative or positive. So therefore, when there are these particular entities on me, it's the same damn entities that I'm pouring doggone libation to. So all that coming and doing is just making me more stronger. I get juice all of a sudden and all the next thing, I got to burst the energy because some doggone crackers we're doing some rituals to hurt me. But then again, there's no such thing as rituals outside of black people. You understand? So, and plus also, because my mind understands that what you call black magic only means black people's magic.
Come on.
So hell, if you giving me black people magic, it's the same damn magic that I'm invoking for my own self. So therefore, no kind of negative stuff can actually hurt me. You see, so in actuality, they've been trying for over a year, and they have tried everything, and it can't work. Another thing is humility. I don't give a doggone about nothing physical at all. I live without money, basically. You understand what I'm saying? I have no other job that when I go do election, it might be 2 weeks apart before I go do election, and I'm the lowest paid. I say, well, I come for $300. Somebody say I got $250. I come for that. But that's all the money I got in the world. I have no bank account. So therefore, I don't live in my desires. How these rituals working on is they feed on your passions. So if you have a passion for money, that's what they do. They put you into the money realm, and therefore you go on that realm trying to get paid, and therefore get you off the spiritual path. You see what I'm saying? So it feeds on your passions and stuff. If you got a large ego, then the first thing happens is you start doing things, and the next thing you know, you start going against the actual people that you so-called helping, because your ego won't let you go forward.
Well,
therefore, you want somebody to worship you or bow down to you. So therefore, the whole thing is to forget this world. I don't even live in this world no more. I'm here, but I'm someplace else. You see what I'm saying? So also, I was saying, Brother Noah got a little son, and I noticed him. I was noticing the last time, and my spirit just picked up. This little boy don't do nothing according to the laws or whatever. You say it's white, he gonna say it's black. But then again, on the other hand, I'm understanding it spiritually, he's in tune. Because also, if you are a model of this society in a world like this, and you don't function in this society at the utmost of the standard of this society, you got to be ultimately dead. You understand what I'm saying? Ultimately dead. Like I said, be in this world, but not of this world. Check? All right then. So now,
have to be ultimately dead. In other words, you have to be in this world, but not of it. Dead to this world and the things that cause you to go against your brother. Jealousy. If you're living a life attempting to be living in moralistic bullshit, you invite negative energies by possession. In other words, you want to own something, be it your spouse, be it your house, your car, whatever it is. If you want to own it, possess it, and you want to compete with your brother rather than show or teach your brother how to build his own house, how to find his own wife. Everybody's not the same. You can't own a person. That's why monogamy is intended to hurt us. It prevents you from nation building because you got one wife, one husband. And then should you have more than one child, you got people who got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 children. These days, people not having that many. You got a few that got 4 or 5. And they're barely making it. They're starving to death because even 2 people with a salary of $100,000 a year each with 4 kids, you can't afford the same thing someone else who has no children or only 1 child or 2. Can't afford the same things. You can't afford the same mortgage. You can't afford the same vehicle type. Why are you competing? What do you prefer? Because they're telling us to stop having babies and go get your education, go to school. Education, now we're learning, if you've listened to any of my videos, education is not giving you anything. It's not giving you a skill. Unless you're in the medical field. And even then, you don't know enough. You got to go. Cuba is the best medical people in the world. They're keeping the people alive in Cuba and Costa Rica to 120 years. We don't have that type of longevity in this United States. So that would mean that we're not doing the right thing. Something's wrong. When you have a so-called third world country, that the people are living longer than the so-called best country in the world. Y'all gotta stop listening to the propaganda. This brother might sound like propaganda, but the truth is stranger than fiction.
Now, based on this here, you must understand the year of God. If you don't get nothing, you must understand this. And that's why John chapter 10, verse 34 to 36 says that Jesus answered unto them, is it not written in your law that I say, ye are God? And he called them God unto whom the word of God came. And the scriptures cannot be broken. And he says, whom the Father has sanctified and sent into the world, thou blasphemest, because I have said that I am the Son of God. But that's like the disciples saying, we can't get along without you when you're going. He said, didn't I say, my Lord, and you are God? And just as I have done great works, greater works you shall do. And be ye perfect as I am. That means in order to be perfect, you got to be the exact duplication or personification of what he is, which means that you have the same things in your body. Now, when I got a lot of good pictures here today, and when we start going into this stuff, and I'm going to show you how some things is already getting ready to go down, so you all just stick with it. Check. Now, the other one is Romans chapter 8, 14, verse 14, 16, and 17. For as many is led by the Spirit, they are the sons of God. And if our spirit bears witness, and if their spirit bears witness with our spirit, we are the children of God. And if children, then heirs. And if heirs, then joint heirs with the Christ. Which means that Christ ain't got nothing on you. He is your brother and has passed through the Stargate. And he's giving you the example of what you must do because you all got the Stargate. The message of Christ is not one person. The message of Christ is you are all Christ. You understand what I'm saying? You just got to be turned on. You understand what I'm saying? Somebody got to flip that doggone remote control down at the cable office and turn your doggone light on. It's simple as that. Okay? Now, I had to get that back out of the verse because I wanted to do some things on this particular part this is some stuff coming out of England. What is a God? What man? Now, they're getting this off of the Gnostic scriptures. What is a God but man? Wielding the force of chaos. Remember that word chaos because it's very important that you understand chaos or what they call quantum physics or what they call new physics in the field of education. You see, the white boys got to jump on you. They give you that garbage, mathematics, and all that bullshit. There is what you call academics or what you call chemistry and what you call a 7 liberal arts, and then there's what is called occult chemistry.
So again, you got to keep in mind this video is probably, if I'm not mistaken, is at least 10 years old. So that means that they didn't have to jump on y'all for a long time on purpose because they gave you the Bible. And then they took the land, but that ain't all they took. They took your mind, they took your soul, they took your magic, they took your power.
Occult chemistry, occult science, which means only that which is hidden. And they have taken the actual blueprint of where the other stuff is coming out. They give you the actual stuff when you go into actual college to learn that stuff. And you learn the mathematics proportion is only an indicator of what there's something greater. And the spiritual stuff you don't get. That's taught in the lodge. You understand what I'm saying? That's called quantum physics, chaos physics. You understand? Which is nothing talking about melanin magic or what you call dark matter magic. Okay, it's called, what is man but God? Freedom from the force of chaos, the black God. And to him, nothing is true and everything is permitted. Now that's not talking about the white man. Because the laws that came down for him is he had to have a strict code of ethics and moral dogma because he didn't know how to behave. This is talking about the God. You understand what I'm saying? So now this is anything diametrically opposed to what you call fundamentalism, where somebody else is the God and you worship it. We're not saying there's not a prime creator, we're just saying that you're part of that prime creator. Hell, if you got a lake and you got a doggone beach, is not the water in the beach and the water in the lake the same damn water? Right? All right, that's all it is. You're the microcosm of the macrocosm. It says nothing is true and everything is permitted. What do they mean by that? They mean that there's knowledge on top of knowledge, and when you go to this level, there's another level, and you never get on top of it. You see what I'm saying? That's why you got to neutralize the ego, because we all in the kindergarten was the knowledge, but yet we want to teach somebody something. We want to doggone say this is it. And we all in the kindergarten was the knowledge. You see what I'm saying? And it keeps going on, keeps going on. So nothing is true, everything is permitted. There is no purpose in the existence. He is the force that chooses his own. He's talking about the God. Now this is you. This is breaking the restrictions of what you would call moral dogma or fundamentalism from you, because it's kept you in slavery up to now. Check. He has bound himself to the earth forever and reincarnate at will until he has had enough of the teaching You will find yourself in this classroom until you have had enough of the teacher. You sound ready to go to another level. I've been taught on this level. So even though you might be ignorant now, 360 degrees of knowledge is in you, and you have been going through reincarnation cycle, so you know the knowledge. It's just ready to come out. Check. All right. For the universe is a mad and it is arbitrary in her way, which means it's chaos. Never stops moving. Y'all stick with me because there's going to be real deep stuff tonight when I start showing you these pictures. All right, we just set you up. Nothing is, it says, nothing is unchangeable except change itself. You understand what I'm saying? Everything can change except change itself because change is changing. Check. The only universal principle is the universal lack of principle. See, the only universal principle is the universal lack of principle. See, this is breaking down all of the particular stuff. I'm going to explain this in a few minutes. What I'm talking about in a few minutes. I'm going to go and explain this in a few minutes. Yet, the great black mother goddess chaos will lend her power to those who can become her favorites. Her favorites, her original black children, with her stargate in them. That means all this up there, the only people that's going to lend it to is the one that's got a part of that in it. Now, what do I mean by the only principle, universal principle is the lack of principle? Because I went to Hampton University. So all the little black brothers and sisters, I've met a lot of people, 18, 19, 20, you know, up to about 23. They got on into the, all of them got the little twists into the dreads, everything like that. Now, so when you first get in Afrocentricity, the first thing you do is you learn a certain behavior. You see what I'm saying? You learn it, and I understand it first, the goal and the objective is you don't want to be like the white man. So the first thing is the brother say, brother, why you cut your hair? I say, you're right. I say, first of all, I got the chemical out of it. So therefore, I don't have the stuff on the inside, so it don't shut down my crown chakra. I said, but on the other hand, he was like, well, brother, why you cursing or why you doing this type thing? I said, what you doing, brother, you dealing with the physical mannerism and it's keeping you from going inside. Also, you learn how to, you put on all the African clothes, you get the dreads, all that's positive. Now, don't get me wrong. You get the dread, and then all of a sudden, you put on this particular stuff, and you learn how to be this whole Afrocentric mode, which is positive for the simple fact that you want to have a people that don't identify with white so often. But all of a sudden, you start getting stuck there. You start getting stuck there, and it keeps you from going inside. And then the next thing, the objective that you start to change yourself becomes just as bad as the objective that you try to bring yourself out of. You just coming from one dichotomy to the other, and you stuck in the same phase. And I said, that is because you have been trained on a moral dogma standard that you got to act a certain way outwardly and shield your pathology inwardly. Y'all understand where I'm coming from? You see what I'm saying? It shields your pathology inwardly.
In other words, you fix everything on the outside, but the inside is still there. There's a saying in AA. Says a sober horse thief is still a horse thief.
Yeah. So this is why all of a sudden, after 10 years of the Afrocentric movement, half the niggas done sold you out. brother, and it done got over on you. You see what I'm saying? Because you don't understand until you go inwardly. It don't manifest outwardly, but you can change outwardly and it can stop the flow of going inwardly. Now, go with a few other things, because I'm going to see if I can get this other piece, because I want to show you something on the ego. We need to deal with this particular thing. First of all, let me go into this elder race. The elder race, it says after, we're going to go far beyond. Now, for those people who don't believe in Atlantis and Lemuria, that's what they came and studied. Oh, I got with all the scholars and I said, where the hell you get this stuff from? I said, okay, you want documentation. So I start documenting with all the scholars at the Millennium Conference. They had to bear witness to it. I said, you just didn't read the Hermes Flight Logistics material. where it simply says the Houthi comes from a land of the deluge, beyond the Nile. You see what I'm saying? And they say that his particular work is undateable. So when you talk about Atlantis and Lemuria and all that type of stuff, you talk about particular stuff that's all in the document. You just got to sift it out. One good book you need to get is Health Researchers just put it back out. It's Atlantis and Lemuria by Rudolf Steiner. Atlantis and Lemuria by Rudolf Steiner. Now this book came out in 1925, supposedly before Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Master Farah Muhammad came to teach Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And you laugh at that stuff, but yet you crack it in almost 5 years before Master Farah Muhammad came to teach him, he bear witness to the same thing that the white man was created.
Well,
the white man was created. Bear witness that the sun was separated from the moon. All in this particular book. You see? So therefore, it's just you just have dug deep enough. Or is there a conspiracy of a hidden history, and they're only giving the scholars what they want them to know. Don't go beyond Egypt for 3,000 years. And everything else is vague. You can hit on it, but you don't get the complete notice. Now, let's go into this particular thing. After the earth and the planet had cooled, it was ready for the inhabitants. A race arrived from outer space who was not human. Now, but was the original true race of men. Now, this particular person he's talking rubbish. He said he ain't human, but he said he had an original true race of men. You understand what I'm saying? Now, but they were called the Cyclopean race and are known in the secret arcane as the of the elder race. So he's doing the metaphysical thing again. He's talking to one people, and you thinking it's a damn person with a damn one eye in the front forehead and no other eyes. Cyclopean means the third eye. Okay?
well,
Are the Elohim elder race. And simply the elders before coming to earth, they have traveled through space and all over the great cycles of time. They were titans and they rode the starways. And they still in other dimensions and time and space. In space, sought ways, and they always sought the best green pastures for their stock or their flock. The first life on the planet was the inheritance of the legends for the great race of elder race who preceded man. Now we go back into that because, like I said, at one time you were God. The Nephil said, before pre-dynastic Hemmitt, the God you grew. That's when your third eye will go, your chakra system, and your higher self. You understand? So they are saying that this particular elder race preceded man is metaphysical to say that the man with the shut down faculties, it was Superman, then it was man. Go look at Superman 2. When the people, when the glass shattered and these three black figures got out, came back and started running the earth. Check. Some of the elders were true Cyclops, third eye, and they had only a great central eye in the middle of their forehead. Others had two eyes, human beings over here, right? He's double talking in this thing. And still others had developed the psychic third eye, which is all the same thing. And were 12 feet tall, male and female, and was no sex differential, which means in actuality they were spiritually compatible to each other, male and female. But it did say that they were 12 feet tall. Well, you know that based on Herodotus' account. That these people were 12 feet tall when you would have a Duke Bowl being the damn shortest person in his family, but the tallest person in the NBA. Now, it also says that the other man came, and this other man, or what they would call an animal man, can never be El. So in actuality, they're saying that there are two different evolutions of races on the earth, whereas one is not involved in the other. Get the last chapter of the book, teach people with the secret when the Sufis are saying this particular thing. Now, what the people are saying is now, what happened? It says, oh man, realize that you are the highest form of deity in the universe. There is nothing beyond you. And in this case, you are grand. And in this case, you are the lowest. Now let me explain this. You are the lowest. It says because you are the highest, you are the lowest. The mama got to get down on her knees to put the children on the back. So therefore, all the animals and stuff, and not only that, all the other beings in the actual planet, because they gave you the key, you got to better burden than others. So you got to go through the karma, the reincarnation, and all the hell, and go through total death. So therefore, there won't be nothing that you haven't done. So therefore, you can regain the universe. Check. All right. Earth is a school.
Basically, the meek shall inherit the earth. Keep listening.
Man shall harvest, the man shall harvest man among the earth. Man who has lost the vestige of the human. There are those of earth today. Now this is what it says. We'll read this part. Earth is the classroom for godhood, not Mars, not Venus, not Jupiter, not magnificent Saturn, nor the spiritual Neptune, Pluto, or Mercury, even the sun and his body. The lotus rises on the earth. That's the Nile, that's the lotus. You have been picked for the special experimentation, so therefore the entire universe is waiting on you. Why? Because ain't nothing in the universe has gone through you, what you have gone through. Cultural amnesia. Everything knows what everything is. Everything knows what everything is. Now, like I said before, everything shut down in Atlantis and all that. In that particular time, you were God. There was a particular group of people called the Dagon, which also Reverend Valentine agrees that the melanin curve was both black and green. That green element was called the Dagon and went down in the Atlantic Ocean, and they shape-shifted into mermaids. This is some true stuff. They get this stuff from your history. All you have to do is go look into any metaphysical encyclopedia when they say Dagon, Dag, fish man. You see some particular people in the Serious Mystery book with fish scales on. They shape-shifted into mermaids, and later on they shape-shifted into dolphins. Now, to understand what shape-shifting is, you need to go see the movie Thunderheart, where they show you shape-shifting is what the Indians can do to this day. So you shape-shifted to also keep from actually going on, and some people left and went to the other mainland, which was Hemmitt was a form of the mainland on spaceships. That's where you get the flying ark. Your whole Noah's Ark in the Bible is actually talking about Atlantis and not talking about no other time it flooded. And the ark was not no boat with no 400 animals on a damn wooden boat. The ark was spaceship.
It was a spaceship, and they were using cloning, if I'm not mistaken. They were using cloning. They had the ability to clone and would take the DNA of all of those animals and people, and they put them on that spaceship. And I've also heard that that spaceship is pyramid shaped. All right, I'm gonna cut this short here because I know you guys are not gonna want to sit and listen to all of this. We're gonna break it up in some more sessions. It's got another hour and 15 minutes to go. Some of them give you about 5 more. We're gonna break it up like that.
They call them flying arts, and if you study Hemmitt, you'll see these particular arts. But the daggone shape-shifting, and those are the actual dolphins who are now going and running themselves into the fish net to sacrifice because this stuff is all over. And the whales is also, because the dolphins have intellect like humans, greater than humans, because they got the spiritual part, as well as the actual whales are beaching themselves now because this particular time is up. Get the book on dolphins. What is it? Dolphins, Telepathy, and Underwater Birthing by Timothy Willis.
All right, I'm gonna end it here. Hopefully I've given you something to think about. Hopefully my people are awake enough to consider that you are capable of learning something more than the, what's the word I want to use? Fairy tales that have been given to your grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents, great-great-great-grandparents. It's not their fault that they didn't know or tell you about these things simply because they had been made to forget. And that we also went to sleep. Bobby will tell you about that in some of his other videos. We knew we were going to sleep, and it's odd. It's really eerie sometimes. Not now, but it just, I guess not eerie. The word I want to use is not eerie. The word I want to use is humbling. To know that I had already determined long before I ever even heard of Hemmitt, that we were put to sleep. We had to have been put to sleep. And I also knew that we knew we were being put to sleep. I knew that instinctively, somehow. I knew. I just don't know how. I mean, I guess I do know how now, but I never understood how. I just felt that. And then when I first heard Hemmitt, I understood that uh, that I had been given this download by the source. I had been chosen. So I'm grateful for that. Uh, keep loving, keep learning, keep listening. Um, Stay safe and uh, manifest all that you need and want, should it not be of harm to you or anyone else. Peace. Open roads.
Wiley, to go into all of that.